You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Ringer. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Ringer news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Ringer.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ TV show for CW's Ringer, Season 1, Episode 15, titled P.S. You're an Idiot.
I hope you're not talking to me.
It sort of was. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. We're going to fight?
I'm just kidding. No, we're never going to
start?
fight. I am your host tonight, David Schifilliti, and I am joined by the lovely and talented Sarah Huggins.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How's
We
it
have
going?
such an interesting show for you guys tonight.
It moved quickly. I liked it.
It did move really quickly, and not only are we going to give you just a little smattering of news and gossip, which I know that we promised last week and hoped for something to happen, which it didn't, but I do have something
I'm excited to hear
something
it.
interesting to tell you guys. But we also have a small special segment sort of dissecting the terms that they used tonight in this episode, because I know that there was a lot of stuff that I was sort of like, I don't know what that means, and I feel like an idiot.
We learned a lot.
We learned a lot tonight.
We got educated.
Well, I know I did. I don't know about you.
I did. No, I mean, it's confusing.
Are you mocking me?
No, I need you to explain it to me.
Okay.
So,
No, I think I understand what was going on, but I still might be a tad confused.
okay, good.
But when we get to that, if you have any insight into what a Ponzi scheme is, call us here, 424-256-1729.
We need help.
Because we need help. I looked it up right before we came on here, and I read a little bit about it, but it's very confusing.
The first sentence confused me already, so I need some assistance. I need a financial expert.
You do?
We
We do.
We need one, right?
You should call my father.
Oh, really? Is he in finance?
He was.
Oh.
Not anymore.
Oof.
He's retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, victim of a Ponzi scheme.
No.
Perhaps.
No. Not at all.
All right.
But let's just jump right in. We've gotten all the niceties out of us on the side, so we can move on to our show.
So true.
So true.
It was super intense as usual.
It was intense. And I think the not so nicest person on this show since the season started.
It was your girlfriend.
No, not Catherine. I love Catherine. Not her. But I'm talking about Siobhan.
You really think she's the not nicest person? I don't know.
Are you watching the same show that I'm watching?
I feel like she was a little subdued this week.
That's what I'm saying. I think that she's finally starting to show some signs of having a soul.
Agreed.
We started out the episode this week. Siobhan's at the OBGYN in Paris, and
she's going to be a mom.
She's going to be a mommy, and we find out tonight she's having twins.
That's pretty intense.
It is intense, and she's concerned that her husband is the father.
I don't know how that's possible, though.
Well,
is it possible?
It is possible, and I know that we talked about this.
Right.
And we were thinking that they were gonna do an American Horror Story thing and have that she was gonna have twins
daddies
with two different fathers, which they might still do, but her doctor and her new doctor, because it's her new OBGYN, was saying that she's not as far along as she thought she was.
Right.
And she was saying that she conceived in August, and he says that isn't right. So it's possible either she's further along, because they didn't explain that. She might be further along than she thinks she is, or she's not as far along as she thought she was.
Right. Correct. But, I mean, we're pretty sure they're both Henrys.
Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they both have the same father.
Right.
I'm sure they're not going to throw that at us. But
Right.
I do have a slight feeling that they might be Andrew's babies.
Well, was that like a sympathy?
Goodbye.
Yeah, like
Screw.
Yeah, I was
I wanted it.
session. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say, but yeah, like I mean, I don't know. Like,
Well, I mean, who knows? We haven't seen what happened before Siobhan hatched this plan
that's really true.
yet, and it's very possible that she, right before this plan came about, she did, bang one out.
But probability, literally, probability rules. Probably it's Henry's. They're Henry's.
Right. Maybe they're not even Henry's. Maybe they're not Andrew's. Maybe there's somebody else's.
Well, goodness. Well,
Siobhan gets around.
That's true.
She's
That's
a
true.
Pretty lady.
That's true. I mean,
Who knows who else she's been sleeping with?
did he say, like, did he say exactly how far along she is?
No, he didn't.
Okay. I was just hoping.
He just said something about five. I don't think he said 5 weeks.
No. She has to be more than 5 weeks, but she's not exactly sporting a baby bump at this point.
Well,
I mean, that we can see, or that
nothing
we've
that we
seen.
can see, but she definitely doesn't look.
She was in a robe and laying down most of this episode.
Who, Siobhan?
Siobhan.
Yes, she was.
So we didn't quite get to see the, situation, but
I'm trying to figure out what month it is on the show.
the babies looked pretty developed, though.
They
I mean,
did.
you could
That's
see two
what
heads.
I'm saying.
You could see two
she
heads
would have to
looking
be
at each
much
other.
further along. She would have to be at least in her second trimester for you to be having an ultrasound with actual.
With the sex and the they didn't say. They didn't
the
say it
sex.
was 2 boys or 2 girls.
No, but they had forms.
Right.
They looked sort of like people.
Right. No, they had definitely 2 heads. I remember because they were like nose to nose almost.
Right.
So, I mean, I had a friend who she just told us the sex of her babies and she was like 3-4 months along. So,
Oh, I guess you can. Well, that 4 months would be her second trimester.
right. But she didn't say it. So maybe they're just not choosing to say what it is or
For suspense.
maybe.
Maybe.
Because I feel like by the time you can see that there's 2 heads, you should be able to tell if they're boys or girls. Correct? I don't know. I've never had a baby.
You're
I've never
asking
had
the
a
wrong
baby, so
person.
I don't know. But maybe. I would just assume.
I would as well. I'm with you on that. What I'm not on board with is Henry's blatant anger towards Briv. I understand that he now knows that Briv is actually Bridget. She's not Siobhan. And that
He does treat them
he
differently.
does treat them very differently.
Very.
He's very nice to Siobhan. He's very sweet and loving and caring with her. And he will follow her to the ends of the earth. And he used to act like that towards Briv. And I think he's getting into some sticky water by having this new attitude towards her. That came out really strangely.
And I'm surprised she doesn't pick up on that energy.
Who,
'Cause-
Briv?
Yeah.
She's a little bit in the clouds, I feel
She's
like.
a little crazy, clearly. Right.
Well, she's got a lot going
Right,
on, but
right.
I think she's having a much harder time, as we saw last week, sort of with keeping up with the lies and the secrets and trying to have a double life, sort of.
Right. No, and I see that. But I was even confused. Like, it's getting to the point where it's like, whoa. Like,
Right, when she
had
came
to be like,
to the door,
had
you
to be
thought it
like,
actually was
Siobhan's
Siobhan.
in Paris, Sarah. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I remember now. I mean, it gets a little confusing, like, even
It does,
for me.
but I think that Henry's attitude towards Siobhan and Henry's attitudes towards Bridget is sort of helping us out as viewers
Right.
to figure out who's who.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, and this whole episode is being kind of shady, but not at the same time. Malcolm came to his house to work on his computer, and Siobhan, Malcolm finds out that Henry is the one who emptied out the office.
Right.
And he has all the belongings there, and Briv comes to him and is like, I want my stuff. And he was like, well, it was our stuff.
Right.
Did you believe that,
Ours.
though? Do you believe that that office was actually Siobhan's and Henry's? Or do you think that it was just Siobhan's and he just happened to know about it?
Why would it be Siobhan's and Henry's? Like, what would Siobhan and Henry have in an office together?
I don't know.
That's
I mean,
what I'm wondering.
They had like a secret relationship. Who the hell knows what
I know.
they could have been doing in an office together?
I don't know. Like, well, and there's that whole, they had a property together, correct?
Right.
And like, what's in that property?
Well,
We don't know.
This was that property.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to be revealed there. You know, I feel
There
like
definitely is.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't quite.
Also, what
made that cut and
business does
dry.
Siobhan have that she needs an office for?
That's true. Well, she did some charity stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah, but you can run that out of your home. You don't
That's
need an
true.
office to like set up a charity gala.
maybe they are the heads of the Ponzi scheme. Perhaps. I don't know.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
kidding,
That is
just
completely
kidding,
incorrect.
just kidding.
P.S. You're an idiot.
I'm just kidding. Oh my God! You're not
I
allowed to
called
use
you
the
out.
title on me. That's not fair.
I'm
don't
sorry,
like
whores
that.
just don't make that much.
Oh my God! 2 titles. That's not fair. That's not fair. You're
This
gonna
show
get it.
has the best titles,
It does, hands down, for
hands
sure.
down.
For
They're
sure.
not even clever about them because they
I
just
did-
take a line from the episode, but it's so great.
I did like last week's a little bit better than this week's. For
I did
sure.
too, but that was definitely the best title that they could have come up with for this episode.
For sure.
Was there anything else that Henry did that bothered you?
I just.
I mean, he gave Briv exactly what she needed, but that was sort of Siobhan's.
Well, he gave Briv the box
Yeah.
with who knows what. We don't know what all is in there at this point.
Well, it's papers about Charles and Martin. We know that. It's like research that Siobhan
Right.
found on her own.
Right.
And I think it was just when Siobhan found out that Andrew and Briv were going to renew their vows, she sort of got upset and her feelings got hurt and she was reacting.
Right. I agree. But I mean, you don't know. We don't know exactly what's in there.
No, we do not.
There's a lot.
I mean,
We've
it was a
only
small
opened
box.
like one file. But there's still, we only saw what was in
We did.
maybe one file.
Right. Which was very telling for this week.
Right, correct. That I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, he gave her the box, but that was a big deal. He was like, or Siobhan was like, you can give her the box. You know, it was like
She did make
dun,
it was
dun,
very
dun,
dramatic.
You know? So there might be something in there that we haven't seen yet. We don't know.
Well, hopefully it's something about Olivia, who we find out this week is a little less than desirable to have as a partner
Right.
in business.
Employee.
Employee. Well, she's partners with Andrew,
That's true.
Charles and Martin, Olivia Charles.
I don't
Andrew
like
Martin.
her at all.
I don't.
I mean,
I'm a very firm believer of typecasting in Hollywood, and it happens to all actors, and it's something that you sort of can't escape
right.
as an actor. And when this actress was on Dexter, she did not play a very nice woman. So
Right.
when she showed up on this show, it was
You
very
knew.
clear to me as a viewer,
Villain,
villain,
for sure.
clearly. Same thing with Tori DeVito. Whenever she shows up on a TV show, villain.
Well, because
can't-
Tori DeVito's
I know,
beautiful.
but that's the thing. Most villains are usually
true.
played by very beautiful people.
That's true. I mean, but I feel
But
like
that's the
she's not that
problem.
interesting though. Like I don't
As a
really
character?
I don't really care. Like I really don't.
I'm not saying that I do
Okay, good. Okay.
because her storylines are a little lackluster, but I think there's a means to an end there. It's sort of like
Okay.
we sort of have to see that side of the business, and Olivia is very much a part of that side of the business
Right.
for us to understand what Andrew has been doing,
Right. Which hasn't been good things.
which has not been doing anything great.
Legit. Legal.
Which is kind of really sad because they're going to lose everything. But
How do you know?
special
Prediction?
segment.
Oh, special segment.
Special segment.
Sorry, we'll get to that.
Malcolm is sort of playing detective in Office.
Right. Who knew
He
he was
has
so
this
good at
job.
computers?
He was a professor of computers.
Well, But, I mean, he has an
They
addiction.
do say those who can't do teach.
True. That's very true.
And he was a teacher.
True.
So
With an addiction, which can be impairing.
He is a recovering addict.
Okay, gotcha. That's a very nice way to say it.
He is.
I understand. I'm not arguing.
And he's very highly functioning, and he's a very smart man.
All right.
I am on Team Malcolm.
All right.
What?
All right.
You do not like him.
I don't.
Why? I need to know why.
I just think he's kind of blah. Like, I don't, before there was a lot of sexual tension, I feel like, with him and Briv.
Yes.
This week, not so much. It was just
because
business as usual.
she's in love with Andrew, and he's sort of got a thing for the receptionist.
But why is Briv in love with Andrew? Because he has money? Because, I mean, she's living a life that's not hers.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of his. He just doesn't do it for me. I'm not sure why.
Okay, but on the other side of things, he is looking out for Briv's best interests, and
That's true. He's a good friend.
helping her. He's a great friend.
Right.
He was her sponsor / lover for a long time. And, he sort of finds out a lot of information. He puts his neck on the line. He gets fired from Charles and Martin this week for hacking into Olivia's computer, and he finds out this algorithm that projects things that aren't real.
True. I mean, Olivia's clearly threatened by him, definitely.
Well, because she got a text from Xerxes, which I was very curious as why they chose
Special
Xerxes,
segment.
which is part of the special segment. We're
Spoiler.
teasing this special segment like it's going to be
Life-changing.
life-changing, but it
It
definitely
is.
will not be.
It is. It will be.
No, it will be. It will be.
It will be.
I don't know which camera to look at. This one.
It will be.
It will be.
For sure. Guaranteed.
But guaranteed. Telling her, Xerxes tells her that there is a mole at Charles and Martin. At the beginning of the episode. At the end of the episode, she finds out that it's not Malcolm and that the mole is in Paris.
Right. So it's either...
Well, we'll talk about Xerxes later.
Okay. We'll get
And
into
who Xerxes actually could be.
Right. Gotcha.
But Malcolm did a lot for Bridget this week.
Right. He was very resourceful. Like, he looked into a lot of things for her, and...
He was.
But he's kind of blah. He just bores me.
All right, fine.
Whatever.
You know who's not boring me, finally? Is Andrew.
Yeah.
He bored me for the longest
Really?
time. Oh my God, his character is so
Yeah, he's pretty
vanilla.
flat. Yeah, he doesn't do it for me.
He is so
either.
vanilla. And this week we started out the episode and he was so romantic and he wanted to have a movie night with his wife and he wanted to recreate what
One
was
of
it?
her
What were they
favorite
watching?
moments.
Summer Camp Slasher, her favorite moment from her childhood where this boy took her to see the movie and then gave her a ring pop.
It's a little creepy still.
No, it was cute. Oh my God, you are such a cynic.
If it was
I
like,
see it in your eyes.
if it was like while you were sleeping and he gave her the ring pop, I would be happy. But
But that's her favorite movie.
it's not her favorite movie.
Summer Camp Slasher. I said it to you while we were watching, and I'll say it here that I secretly wish that they were watching I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It would be amazing if they were.
It would be genius only because when Jennifer Love Hewitt had her television show on Ghost Whisperer.
Oh, I was like, she's had a couple.
You know, she has had a
yeah.
couple. But when she was doing Ghost Whisperer, any chance she got to self-promote things she had done in the past, she did. And it was genius. She'd be driving in the car and she'd be listening to her album and she'd
How
be
do I deal?
singing.
Do you remember that song she sang? How do I deal?
No, not that
I won't
album.
sing it. I won't sing it, but I
Not
know
that
the song.
album, the second album.
Oh, Bare Naked.
Bare
when she
Naked.
sang- yeah,
so she would be
yeah,
driving in
I
the
know
car, Bare Naked would be playing. Or she'd reference I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I thought it was genius when she did it and I thought it would have been fun had they done it. But
Right, because she met her husband doing that, or Scooby-Doo, whatever. They
Exactly.
were there, like,
it would have been cute,
yeah.
but
No.
no. I think
They had to make up a fake
a
horror
fake movie. They could have had a real movie.
That's true. That's true. That's
like
not
Hellraiser or something.
Pet Sematary.
Pet Cemetery.
my personal favorite.
Jason.
Jason.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th,
I just think
Nightmare on Elm
Sarah
Street.
Michelle Gellar is trying to move forward.
Right, true. They could have played Scooby-Doo.
I mean, it could have been anything.
I mean,
could have been
wish.
Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions, best ever.
I know, but let's not.
All right, I know.
But we shouldn't
be
be giving Sarah Michelle Gellar's
all right. Resume.
out to you guys because you are fans of hers. Clearly. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, as are we.
Right.
But he does this romantic thing for her, and he proposes with the ring pop. And
The ring pop was cute.
That was adorable.
It was really adorable.
He says he wants to get married to her again.
Really cute.
And Briv is so touched.
Right.
And her answer is so genuine because she does want to marry him because she does love him.
She wants that life.
She does want that life. And I think we saw in this episode the dichotomy of her living as Siobhan and I think getting a little too comfortable being Siobhan when she yelled at Malcolm, and her realization as they're doing the wedding planning that she feels like she's actually getting married to this man.
Well, she is.
She is technically.
Technically.
I mean, it's not a real ceremony. It's just it's a fake ceremony. You do have a priest there or whatever, a justice of the peace, but it's not, you don't sign papers because you're already married.
Right. I thought they were going to do the whole wedding this episode. I did as well. Surprised when they didn't. But I think she's scared.
For the season finale. She's frightened.
She's scared. I mean, she could have to do fingerprints and, there's a lot happening in her life. So
there is a lot happening in her life. And I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg.
That's true. She does seem to be super into it, which weddings can be fun. But she did get she was a little distracted when they were doing the cake tasting and the whole bit.
Well, understandably so.
True. But but she seems super excited about it.
She does, and she tells him later on in the episode that I want to do this correctly, and I want it to be like it's like the first time, because for her, Bridget's never been married. It is her first time, and she's remarrying this man that her sister was married to as her sister, and I think this is where it's going to become a very slippery slope for her, and where she's going to have to sort of figure out a way to tell Andrew that she is not Siobhan.
Right. Well, it's clear that he and Siobhan had a pretty distant relationship because
from the beginning. We saw a flashback for 6 years ago when they first got married, and he brought up children, and he said we can't even have our wedding night without getting into a fight.
Right.
Which leads me to wonder why he got married to her in the first place.
That's true.
If you were fighting all the way up to your marriage,
which it seemed to be pretty quick from what I understand.
Yeah. Why did you get married? What was the point?
I don't know, but I would like to find out for sure.
And they had a very tumultuous relationship throughout until Siobhan disappeared and Bridget took her place.
But can you imagine if she's just like, hey, I'm not really Siobhan, I'm Bridget. Like how
Well, she'd have to be a little bit more graceful than that.
Well, I'm sure she wouldn't say. I mean, how would you like her to say it?
I don't know.
What she's supposed to say. So, for the last 6 months, I've been lying to you. I mean, there's really no nice way to say it. There isn't.
Well, that's true.
So
she might just have to come out and say it.
He might be into it. He might be like, awesome, I knew there was something up here. So that's cool that you're not really the person that I thought you were.
Well, maybe the news that we found out tonight that he was the original mastermind behind the Ponzi scheme, and it wasn't Olivia, and that he was the one who wanted to con these people out of their money. Maybe that will lead her to believe that she can tell him the truth about herself.
That's only, well, yeah, maybe.
I mean, we have a few more episodes left in the season.
How many do we have?
6 or 7.
Okay. A lot can happen.
A lot can happen.
I feel like a lot happens every episode on this show. A lot happened tonight.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it's true.
There's a lot of twists and turns that can happen.
One of them might end up dying. It's impossible.
Don't make me cry.
The show would not go on.
I mean, it can't happen.
No, that won't happen.
Not one of the main
No,
two.
Siobhan or Bridget can't die. There would be no show.
I mean, they could kill Henry.
I don't think we're seeing any more deaths on this show yet.
Maybe.
But the death of a relationship happened tonight.
That's true.
Very dramatic. Mr. C, Catherine, Juliet web of deceit
I almost can't even talk about Mr. C. Like, I am really into him.
Like, as a character?
Like,
Or
period.
the actor?
Period.
Do you want to be Juliet?
I just like him. Kind of.
How could you like a person like that, though?
I don't know. There's just something about him. Like, I like that he was kind of like a naughty teacher. And then I liked that he's not
He literally said
predictable.
tonight, after Juliet sent Catherine the text that she was going to tell her father about...
Daddy. She was
going to tell Daddy about the money and their whole scheme, that he said, we need to run because I don't need to lose all my hard-earned money.
I mean, he's flawed, but
Come on, he just literally stole $3.3 million from someone and he thinks he had to work for it.
he didn't steal it. I mean,
Yeah, he
earned
technically
it.
stole it. He earned it by lying to somebody.
You just love Catherine. You
I do love her.
Love her. Like, you light up when she's on. I don't understand
She's
because
glamorous. She's evil.
she did make quite an entrance, like her very first episode, I have to say, and she's been
She's a hot mess.
quite a whirlwind ever since. Yes,
I think
true.
she's fantastic.
True.
And just I enjoy the character because she brings a new life into this show that it desperately needed.
Right, that's true.
It's a lot
The
less
storyline's interesting.
soap
and
opera-y than everything else. It's
Correct.
more like exciting to watch her on the screen. Especially tonight when Juliet tells... Well, Mr. C calls Juliet and is like, the NYPD came to me and you need to back off or I'm going to shut you up forcefully. And he sort of threatens her. And so Juliet
But we
goes
sort
to
of
Catherine.
knew that was sort of a confirmation that he didn't do that thing to Tessa. Yeah.
Right. Well, we know that he didn't do it. And I knew that it was Catherine.
Right. Well,
Because Catherine's a greedy bitch and she's poor and she has no money.
Right.
And she's trying to get back at Andrew.
I couldn't see Mr. C doing that.
No, I couldn't either. But even though I couldn't see him doing what he did either.
True.
But he did that. So there was like a small possibility that he was involved in that. And so Juliet goes to Catherine and tells her. And then Catherine goes to Mr. C and they're bumping uglies.
Yes.
Yeah, I said it.
They certainly are. Yes. I mean, I was kind of disappointed. I mean,
I saw that coming.
I did too, but it still looked a little unnatural to me.
A little, just because Catherine's much older than Mr. C.
But she's pretty hot.
Yes.
I know you think so.
I'm obsessed
I mean,
with her.
I know you are.
So glamorous.
And I love Mr. C. I would rather him be hooking up with Juliet, honestly. But, whatever. Who knows? They could be. We don't know.
They're definitely not.
Well,
Either way, Catherine and Mr. C run out of town when they find the news out about this.
they go to a Motel 6.
Because Mr. C can't ruin his hard-earned cash.
that 3.3
Can't lose it, that
million.
3.3 million.
Right.
He goes to take a shower. Catherine, of course, takes the money and runs. Leaves him a note saying that if you ever talk to my daughter again, I'm going to send this video out. It's going to go viral and everyone's going to know.
Well, he comes out of the shower and there's a video of him.
From
And
the
Tessa.
night or the day of the trial
Right.
when they were in the hotel room
And Juliet talking about the whole.
about the
shebang.
whole thing. And she signs the note, P.S. You're an idiot, which we already got the title
Right.
from. And
Hilarious.
so genius. Catherine, of course. We're all laughing here.
Yes. Hilarious. So funny.
And it turns out Catherine paid somebody to rough up Tessa.
But we didn't see who it was.
We did not see who it was.
Do you have any guesses? Do you think it's someone we know?
No, because the one person that I think it was is dead.
Who do you think it was?
Charlie.
I feel like it was
/
Malcolm,
John.
your
No.
boyfriend. Well, why didn't they show it? It had to be, to me, it had to be someone we know or else
Otherwise,
they
they
would
wouldn't
show them.
have shown it. Interesting.
It was Malcolm, your boy. Your
It's not
sweetheart.
Malcolm.
Henry.
It's not. No.
Who else is like big and like rough? Malcolm.
Well, she's a little girl.
She didn't do it.
It could have been anybody.
Malcolm.
No, it's
100%.
not Malcolm. Oh my God, get out.
Let's bet right now. What do you want to bet?
Out.
do you
No.
wanna bet?
I will bet you an iced
Oh,
tea.
my. An iced tea. A brisk, perhaps.
I'll bet you a brisk. But Catherine roughed up Tessa, took her money, screwed Mr. C out of his money. She's
evil.
$6.6 million richer, and she is for sure on the next plane out of New York.
To Brazil, perhaps.
She's going to fall off the face of the planet
France.
for sure.
Who knows? Well, I don't know. Something could get messy there with her. We don't know.
No. She's too smart.
You think she's awesome.
She's like three.
Fine.
I don't think she's awesome. I do think she's awesome.
You do.
But she's like 3 steps ahead of everybody. So she's not figuring it out as she goes along like Juliet is, sort of. Juliet is like very manic.
Well, she's
and
young.
She is young, but she shouldn't have gone into dirty deeds with her mom.
Dirty deeds.
I know, I'm full of weird things.
I like
today.
that.
She should have never done it. And she should tell her father.
Do you really think she's going to tell, or do you think she was just threatening to tell, like for some sort of gain?
Well, she felt sorry for him because...
He tried to say he was in financial trouble.
Well,
kind of.
he might be really soon.
Right.
If anyone finds out about what he's been doing.
I'm surprised he was so honest with her about that, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like that was a bit weird because they're not exactly close.
No, they're not close, but I think he's trying to build a new relationship with her and trying to trust her more and try
that
to
means
help her
sharing
through everything and sharing things about
finances.
general life.
I love how he was like, oh, and yeah, the vow renewal is costing me a lot. It's like, well, that's not necessary. You don't have to do that.
Well, that's true, but he did just pay out this guy $10 million. He's got a loft that he's working on downtown. He doesn't need that. They do have an apartment.
He had a ring pop he had to buy. I mean,
There was a ring popcorn machine.
That was a lot. Oh, don't even.
He had to find a VHS of Summer Camp Slasher.
Right.
Get a VCR.
He's had a lot of expenses over the past week, for sure.
Cool 250 pesos.
That pesos. Such a world traveler,
He's
that
such
Andrew.
a world traveler.
For sure.
But I think that was tonight's episode, right? Is there anything that we missed?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, right?
I just put Catherine and Mr. C, ew, in huge capital letters. That is a complete gross situation.
Oh, the 227 Pratt Street.
We talked about that, though. That was in the box.
That was in the box, yeah.
Can we talk about the 15-minute lunches a little bit?
Yes, this is the second time tonight where someone has exclaimed the amount of time that they get for lunch on a show that I watch.
What
on
other
Pretty
show?
Little Liars, someone exclaimed that they only get 20 minutes for lunch. And tonight, someone said they only get 15 minutes for lunch.
I feel like 15 minutes for lunch, though, is kind of like a 15 minutes of fame. Like, it's sort of... 15 minutes is kind of...
Just like a saying?
Kind of, I feel like. But, I mean, honestly...
No, that girl looked like she was rushing out the door because she only had 15 minutes.
I'm not denying that she really got 15 minutes. But, you know, like, that's a very, like, cliche time to say, I feel like. But 20 minutes, like, what is up with that? You got, like, an hour for lunch, most likely, right? I mean... I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I have a friend who's an assistant who is allowed to leave to go get lunch, but they have to come back and eat it at their desk.
Right. I can understand.
So maybe that's what she gets. She gets 15 minutes to go run and get her lunch, but she's got to be back to answer the goddamn phones.
Maybe.
And on that note, we're going to jump to a commercial break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to come back with our special segment where we dissect
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
The other room. I'm not getting.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to give you everything we understand about Ponzi schemes. Because
What's the definition?
when it came up, I was sort of like, what?
And you've heard it before. Bernie Madoff.
Okay.
You've heard it before. But,
No.
I mean, honestly, though, you have.
I have
You
not.
haven't?
No, I have heard of Ponzi schemes. I just don't know anything about anything when it
Right.
comes to this stuff. And I'm going to give you the definition of what a Ponzi scheme is and what the characteristics of a Ponzi scheme are, and then we'll sort of talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, so a Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investment operation that pays returns to its investors for their own money or the money paid by subsequent investors rather than from any actual profit earned by the individual or organization running the operation. The Ponzi scheme usually entices new investors by offering higher returns than other investors in the form of short-term returns that are either abnormally high or unusually consistent. Perpetuation of the high returns requires an ever-increasing flow of money from new investors to keep the scheme going.
Can you explain that in English
Okay.
for me, David?
I think I can. I'll do my best. So from what I understand, a
Ponzi
Ponzi
schemes
scheme...
for dummies.
Ponzi schemes for dummies here at AfterBuzz TV. I think what they do is they set up this business where they're investing other people's money into fake high-yielding accounts.
Okay.
And what they do is they'll say, like, let's say you come to me and you give me $100,000, and then this person gives me $100,000, and I tell you that I'm putting it into a high-yield interest saving account or whatever. I'm investing it for you, and I tell this other person, I'm telling them the same thing, and I tell each of you that your money's going to be put on hold for 6 months before you see anything. And then a new person comes in, gives me $100,000, and I tell them they're going to get it back in 3 months.
Okay.
So I take your money and this money's person, I tell that person I'm going to double their money.
Okay.
And I'm going to cash them out. I'm going to give them $100,000 and be like, look, I just made you $100,000 in 3 months.
Okay. I got that.
You should invest more money. And so they invest more money, and then 3 months later, I give you an extra $100,000. I give that person an extra $100,000, and I go, look, I doubled your money.
Right. You have those people like on reserve, so to speak.
And so it's sort of like shuffling people's money around, telling you that I'm making money for you when I'm not really making money for you, but I do have it in a high interest earning account where I'm making money off of the interest.
Sounds so complicated. Like, I'm confused.
It does sound really complicated. But if you put in, like, let's say $3 million into a savings account where it's a high interest savings account, you could be making thousands of dollars a day.
And most people really care about how much money they're making. That's it.
Right.
They don't really care about the specifics of all of it.
They don't. And that's the thing with the whole Ponzi scheme. And so let's read a little bit about the characteristics. And so typically, extraordinary returns are promised on the investment.
Okay.
Vague verbal construction such as a hedge fund, future tradings, or high yield interest programs, offshore investment. And the promoter sells shares to investors by taking advantage of a lack of investor knowledge or competence, or using claims of a proprietary investment strategy, which must be kept a secret to ensure a competitive edge. So what they do is, unlike on this show where they are going to very high earners,
Right.
you would normally and generally go to a lot of low earners so that they don't understand about the money, and you confuse them into investing their life savings, as opposed to going to a couple billionaires
Who have probably, this isn't their first rodeo. They've invested before. Correct.
and they can spot out somebody
Right.
who is not,
Or like
legit.
new money or something like that.
or new money.
Right.
You know, it's all about confusing people
Right.
into giving you their money.
That's what Andrew's been doing.
So that's technically what he and Olivia have been doing. And
Hey, David,
Yes.
we could try a phone call if you guys want to do some Ringer
Oh,
interaction.
sure.
let's get the phone call in. Hey, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
It's John. I'm from Iowa. I just ran across. I never saw this AfterBuzz TV live at night.
Oh, hi,
Who are the
John.
two people on that?
Excuse me?
Who are the two people that are on that?
It's me, David, and
Sarah.
And who else?
And Sarah. My
that's
name's
just
Sarah.
the two of us.
Yeah. Hello?
I think he hung up. I think we lost.
He was so much of a fan, he got nervous. There you go.
I guess we lost John.
That makes my heart hurt, but it's all right.
I have a feeling that he was going to yell at us.
I have a feeling too. Like he didn't sound very nice.
You kind of sounded angry. Sorry, John,
scared.
if we upset you.
Sorry, John.
Please forgive us. Let's
You can call again.
No, you cannot.
David likes to be yelled at.
We are going to move on and talk about Xerxes.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, so the texts that Olivia got were signed Xerxes.
Correct.
And from what I found out about who Xerxes was, I think we can sort of try and figure out who Xerxes on our television show is.
Correct.
So Xerxes was a Persian prince
Okay.
who rised to the throne over his father.
Okay.
And he sort of, let's see. I'm going to just read this to you guys. Xerxes was not the oldest son of Darius, and according to old Iranian tradition, should not have succeeded the king. Xerxes was, however, the oldest son of Darius and Atossa, hence descendant of Cyrus, which made him the chosen king of Persia. Some of the modern scholars also view the unusual decision of Darius to give the throne to Xerxes to be a result of his consideration of the unique positions that Cyrus the Great and his daughter Atossa have had, blah, 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 blah. He succeeded his father when he was 36 years old. And he was apparently a really great king of Persia. And he did a lot of things for the Persian Empire that we know from history today. He was sort of like the steamroller for that.
So what do you think that has to do with this whole
What it has to
spiel?
do with this show, I think that Xerxes, the person sending the texts, would have to be that guy in Paris.
The guy that Cora Farrell has
Yes.
been
Sleeping around
gallivanting
with. Yeah.
gallivanting with.
Although I'm not sure why he would rat himself out, but that would make the most sense to me as someone who would want to take over the business,
Right.
who shouldn't be allowed to take over the business. I mean, there's definitely a reason why the writers would sign it with that name. They're trying to give us a hint
Right.
to who it could be.
And I don't think it's someone we haven't met before.
No, it has to be a character that we know.
Right. And I don't think it's Siobhan. I don't think it's anyone like that because why? I mean,
I don't know.
you do.
No, I don't think it's Siobhan.
Okay.
It's definitely not Siobhan. But let's jump into news and gossip, and then
Okay.
we'll go into predictions.
Okay. You have.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Goodness, are you ready
I'm ready.
for a flashback?
Give it to me.
Johan Griffith searches for survivors in Titanic.
What? I'm obsessed with Titanic.
Were you too busy watching Rose and Jack make sweet love in a car to notice the random seamen aboard the Titanic? Don't worry. While you sobbed as Leo descended into a watery grave, we were busy swooning over Johan Griffith, a.k.a. Andrew, on Ringer. Johan played 5th Officer Harold Lowe in Titanic and was often seen steering the ship in desperation.
Okay.
Or hurriedly escorting women and children onto lifeboats.
I get that.
He also uttered the infamous line, "We waited too long."
Yes.
After his lifeboat came to the rescue, only to find most of the ship's passengers frozen to death. Too bad Yoan couldn't have saved that adorable elderly couple who met their frigid death arm in arm.
Poor thing.
Their hearts will go on. Titanic 3D hits theaters on April 4th.
Can I just say I'm really excited about that? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I will camp out.
I told you I found something. It had nothing to do with our show, really, but like it's really fun.
I
right?
forgot about that. I forgot it was in that.
I would have never known.
I was listening to the Titanic soundtrack on the way here. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I'm so excited for Titanic 3D.
You were not listening to the Titanic soundtrack.
I was.
There's only one song on the Titanic
there
soundtrack.
isn't. Well, there's one song with words.
Yeah.
But there is instrumental.
The rest is all instrumental.
Music. Yes, I was listening to it. Don't judge me.
I am. I can't help it.
I love it. Titanic all the way.
Titanic all the way.
April 4th. I'll be there.
April 4th, you guys. Let's jump
You're
into
invited.
predictions. Only John's invited.
The biggest new media
Iowa.
platform on
From Iowa.
your AfterBuzz.
All the
Now,
bumpers are going
your
crazy.
AfterBuzz TV.
It's good. I like it.
Predictions.
Okay. So what did we see in our promo?
Something about a prince, which makes sense based on what you just said.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Who is the prince?
Right.
So maybe next week we're finding out who Xerxes is.
Right. But it's weird that they said the prince because it's not like they've referred to the prince before. You
No,
know?
but see, they were giving us a hint.
They were.
And
They
we
were.
caught on it just for you
You caught on
guys.
it, yeah.
I caught on it.
I mean, I knew about the Ponzi scheme, but you were like, Xerxes. I was like, oh, I barely remembered hearing that. So that's good.
Well, they showed it twice. That's why I
That's good.
remembered it. What else did we see in the promo?
In the promo. Goodness. Well, we're definitely
Well, there's
gonna
a
find
lot
out.
of like Andrew and Olivia being worried, looking worried about people finding out
what's
about the
happening.
business.
Right. I mean, we're gonna find out more about the baby daddies or daddy. It's gonna be at least one.
I don't know if that's going to happen next week.
You don't think so?
No, I think they're going to let that lie low for a second.
I wonder. I mean, besides the prince, I don't really remember seeing anything.
I don't either. That's the problem.
I just remember seeing the prince, and I was like, "Who's the prince?"
Well, we're finding out who Xerxes is next week. That's exciting.
Yes, that is exciting. That's worth watching.
That is worth
Definitely.
watching.
For sure.
And if you don't want to watch Ringer, you can always just watch us here
Yeah.
next week.
Like John
Tuesday
from
night.
Iowa.
Like John from
We
Iowa.
miss you. Call back.
Well, from everyone here at AfterBuzz TV, myself, David Schifilliti, and Sarah Huggins, thank you for watching and have a wonderful night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.